Welcome to another edition of Designing with AI. I'm your host, Tom Zoldis. In today's podcast, you might have noticed something different already. I'm using video. As I mentioned, this podcast will have a number of different formats and topics that I'll cover, like AI news, my thoughts on AI as it relates to UX, product, visual design, and marketing as a whole, interviews with others in the industry, and from time to time, AI tool and workflow reviews. So today is one of those days where I'm looking at a specific tool, and I thought it would be a much better experience if we dive into it together. Today will be the first time I've actually utilized the tool, so we'll be experiencing this at the same time. I'm going to be looking at a tool called Visual Electric. It's another AI image generator. It says it will have you doing away with stock photos, so we'll put that to the test. I'll try to give you my honest assessment about this tool as we look at it together. As I said, this is my first time. It'll help you to see if this is intuitive, or at least show you how easily I can get confused. I'm going to pretend in our scenario that we're thinking of doing a video shoot for a higher ed institution and want to get some shot ideas for our establishing shot, which is actually something I would have done in my past job. So stay with me and let's dive in. Okay, so here you are with me on the browser. I'm at visualelectric.com. As I said, it's another AI image generator. It says a camera for your mind. Just looking over the site a little bit. In full disclosure, I have already created a free login, but I haven't used the tool. So that will be my first experience with you, as I said. So they have some pricing. Let's go ahead and look at that. Looks like they do have a free license, which is what I'm signed up for today to demonstrate the tool. Then they have a monthly plan. It looks like they have a yearly plan where you save a certain amount of money for promising to be with them for a year, which we see a lot with this like freemium model. So there's the pricing for you. It looks pretty cool. Looks like they have a blog, different styles that they've created that you can utilize within the tool itself. I did see this already. This is actually kind of interesting. They discovered that the small number of users had been abusing the system by generating tens of thousands of images programmatically, which cost them far more than they were raising in revenue. So they are somehow trying to make sure that that doesn't happen again. They've created new styles, like I said here. An isometric style layout, which is really cool. That can be handy for UX, product design. So they have canvases, which logs you in. Once you log in, you're into this blank space. And I guess you can set up a workspace or various canvases. It looks like for inspiration, I did click on this. It looks like it's just a gallery of other things that people have created out there. So you can see that. The what's new, I believe, okay, it's different than what was in the blog. Looks like, okay, no, it's the same stuff. Okay, so there we go. See, you can tell I'm looking at this with you for the first time because I don't know my way around. All right, so we're back into canvases. We're gonna go ahead and set up a new canvas, which looks like we could do this here, or we could upgrade, I guess, to those various pricing models that we just looked at together. So we'll click New Canvas, and okay, so kind of figure out where we're at here. So there's an artboard thing that I can click. I'm not sure what I just did. A pointer obviously is pretty self-explanatory. Hand tool, which will allow us to move around the canvas. Looks like a sketch tool. Basically a shape tool. Circle, block, square, triangle, line, and then a type tool. Okay. And I guess these are your various styles here to choose from once you put a prompt into this area. So these are the various styles that I guess that they recommend or are highlighting. Then they have photography styles. Looks like the same stuff they're showing. Well, a little bit different in fine art. Illustration styles, crafts, and then I guess digital, which some of these seem overlapping, but I mean, I guess that's intentional. All right, so we're gonna pick, let's see, what do we want? So let's go to photography, and we'll say airy because I'm picturing an outdoor establishing shot for a university. So let's say create an establishing shot for a commercial about University. And as you know, prompting is an art and a science to itself, sort of. But I'm just going to put in what most people would probably put in here, very basic sort of thing to see how it handles it. It looks like we have a color wheel, so we could pick the kind of colors we wanted in our image, I guess. We can exclude things, which is pretty normal. Okay, so it says blurry watermark. I'm going to say exclude bad anatomy. So if you have screwed around or messed around with any of these tools, you know what I'm talking about. It can create some horrific, monstrous looking images of people with multiple arms or missing arms and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I also want to add a little bit more to my prompt here and say, the university campus is buzzing with activity. Students are walking around in the shot. Okay, so area, I guess that's the photographic style we chose. So I guess this is the proportion. So let's do like a nice big 16 by 9 layout. And so we're going to go for the highest quality, and we're going to go ahead and hit, I guess, this to start our images. Okay, so it looks like right off the bat, they're giving us 4 images, and they're kind of glowing. I don't know if you can see that on screen. So I guess they're rendering the images out now. So we'll look through these properties. Okay, and there's our first image starting to come into view. Okay, so we can align, I guess, our various images if we wanted to. This is just the specific details on the image sizes, I guess. Whether or not we want to show a border around an image. That's our prompt. Okay, this is kind of cool. I did see this in the main website that you can be sort of in an art director mode and describe what it is that you do or don't want in a specific shot. So it says here in the tooltip, provide an instruction on how you would like to modify an image. For example, make it daytime or zoom in on other hand. Okay, zoom in on her hand, sorry. You can set up a collage, which is kind of cool. I guess that's for if you're working with a client. So if you're at an agency and you're presenting this out to someone, I don't know what I hit, but I somehow just got out of all of the main stuff. Okay, and so I'm looking at properties for what I just, I guess, created there. So that's interesting. Okay, there it is. There's my sidebar. Okay, that was a little confusing to me. So again, like I said, honest take here on what I'm looking at. All right, let's go ahead and click on one of our images. Okay, cool. That brought us back to our main menu. It looks like we can zoom in or out, zoom to fit. So if we click this and we hit zoom to selection, okay, cool. So that's very blurry, obviously, right? So, but it's a nice campus shot. It looks like sort of fall, or I don't know what time of year it is, but it's obviously way blurry. So let's try the art director prompt here and say, keep the image the same, but remove the blurry depth of field. And we'll see what happens there. So we're going to go ahead and hit the button to get that to render again and see what happens here. So also it's telling me some tooltips here. Regenerate parts of an image to fix, so you can change like that person's hat in that example there. You can make variations. Okay, so if you had one of the 4 that you liked, then you could pick that and then make a variation off of that. So I'm going to zoom back out here. Okay, interesting. Let's go back further out to see all of our stuff. And it looks like it created a new one, but it didn't really do what I asked, which was to remove the blurriness from that image. So that's a little disappointing. Let's look at this image a little bit more detail. So we'll zoom in on the selection. Let's see, does this guy have all of his fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like it. Watch looks normal, hair looks normal, glasses look normal, teeth. All the anatomy that we asked for looks pretty normal, and people are walking back and forth. So let's take some variations on this shot, for instance. So we'll go zoom out. And it looks like we have some shortcuts they gave us there to do that. So let's go click this and then ask for some variations. Okay, so if you've worked with any of these tools in the past, you know that there's a level of creativity that you can give AI to work with, right? So if this value is higher, it's going to do something very, very different from the image that you created. But if this was something you really like and you just want to see some minor variations on that original shot, then you would keep your creativity low. At least that's how most AI image prompts work. Okay, it's letting us again choose our colors, whatever. Okay, let's do that. Let's say that for whatever reason, our higher ed institution is using purple for all of its colors, and we don't want the creativity to go very far from this shot, so we'll keep it low. Okay, 10. Okay, 10 looks like it's sort of like the lowest it'll let you go. And we're going to make variations, and we're going to click go. So, okay, it gives us 4 new variations on that one image that we've selected. So we'll see what we get here as it's doing that. It's definitely a little slower, but as you remember, we wanted the highest quality image and not the fastest image. Okay, so already you can see the second image is starting to come back, and it's got a very similar looking guy, although he's changed in every one of our photographs from the original to these other 2, which is, you know, okay. I mean, it's definitely changed. I haven't seen them integrate our color scheme at all, which is interesting. But again, maybe that's hard with an outdoor shot. I thought they might have changed his shirt, for instance, from an orange to a purple. Okay, so these are all fairly close, really not that different from the original image, which is what we asked for. But I thought we would get some variation, like I said, especially with that color selection. So we're going to zoom in on this last one. Oh, they gave the guy purple glasses. It's kind of funny. I see. They gave him purple glasses, it looks like, in all 4 of the shots, or these are sort of purplish. So let's take this one, and now let's say, let's go back into variations, make a variation, and it's not letting me describe that. Okay, how do we get back into Art Director? Here we go. So make the t-shirt that the subject is wearing purple. And I'll go back here. It looks like they're doing some correction, or at least pointing out that I have written something wrong. Sorry, this is painful to watch, I know. So let's see what happens here. So we'll change that. We're doing the art direction of that specific photo to see what happens here. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to zoom back out here. Oh, here comes now what's going on. Okay, so that's bizarre. It changed our entire picture to purple, which is really weird and definitely not what we were asking for. So that's a little interesting, and like I said, a little disappointing actually. So okay, that's still pretty cool. Again, I don't know that this is any better than any image generator I've ever worked with, like Midjourney, Flux, or some of these other ones, but I do like the setup. I like the interface. Most of these AI image generators that are out there have an incredibly bad user experience, right? You can tell they were probably built by a developer. No offense, developers, but they had zero UI sort of like chops, because there's just nothing going on usually around these things. This at least is a nice setup. I kind of know where I'm at. I'm on a Mac, so I can use like some standard things like space bar and to move around the canvas here. That makes sense. I can zoom in and out with Control minus or Control plus for zooming in. Again, it's very different on a PC, of course, but I think most people in this position would probably be using a Mac if they're in a visual design department or UX. It does say you can do some product mock-ups as well, so let's try one of those. Let's say we're doing an ad for a soda company like Pepsi or Coca-Cola, and let's see what happens here. So, all right, I'm going to do a new canvas this time. And I did notice on the front landing page on the website that it talked about product design as well. So I want to try something like that. So design an ad for a soda company it should have a very modern and clean, let's say the can, soda can, should have a very modern and clean design on it that is also colorful. The main brand colors are blue and red. So we're going to rip off Pepsi here just for this example here. And so let's go in here and pick that red and these blues and hit done. Okay, I want to go back in and again, let's do widescreen. And so let's look at our photography styles one more time here. And okay, product photography. That's what we're looking for. Okay, cool. And we're going to go ahead and render that out. So let's see what we get. Again, it starts to pop up 4 images. And again, we picked higher resolution or their best quality. So it's going to take a little while, although you got to admit, this is amazingly fast, right? If you've ever messed around with any of these tools, I'm always amazed by how quickly it can render something out. So we look like we have our first soda can there. Oh, our second can, and that's another thing we wanted to check was text. Now, I didn't tell it to put any specific text on the can, and maybe we'll do that as an art direction to see what it can do from there. A lot of times these tools in the past haven't been able to render out type at all. They put weird glyphs and different things into the file, and they're getting a lot better at that now. Flux is really good at handling typography in a product picture. So let's go ahead and zoom in on these guys. So we're going to go back up here, zoom to selection. I clicked my first one. So it says, I don't know, some sort of soda, and then some sort of thing. And it does look like gibberish in the little marks on the can itself, but really nice product shot, right? It's got like a key light. It's got a really good drop shadow. It looks a little bit like an illustration and not necessarily like a photograph. But it's pretty darn good. So going over here, this almost looks like they ripped off Pepsi Cola going up the side a little bit. And then you can see it doesn't really know what to say there. Okay, we did tell it to use blue and red, and rather than using it on the can in the logo or the artwork for the can, it used it in the lights that would have been shot with in the studio if this was an actual product shoot, which is pretty interesting. Nice drop shadow again. It looks like it has a transparency, a box sort of layout, and a very muted, blurry reflection, which is very nice. It's got a nice feel to it. It's created a lot of feeling. Okay, so the next one, much more of a harsh light on the front. Looks like your typical product shot you might expect. Again, it looks more like an illustration, I would say, than a photograph. It also brought in some of that color choices that we decided to use, so that's pretty good. And then we have one more, yes. This is an odd-shaped can. Soda Seduian design and whatever fluid ounces and all that jazz. So let's pick our favorite here, and let's see. Let's go with this guy. So we'll select that, and then we're going to do some art direction, right? So make the can say, and I don't know if I should do this, but I'm going to put it in quotes, the best soda out there. I mean, that's a lot of text to put on a product. I've worked with many people in my life, and they tend to always want to put way too much stuff on a product, so here I am violating my own rule. But let's go ahead and see what happens here if we do that. So again, it's going to render that out. I'm not sure if it's going to render out just one more example or if it's going to work with that. Okay, yeah. So it didn't touch the original 4. It's giving us a 5th choice here based off of the one I selected. Okay, now it went very different from where we were, but it did put in the best soda. It's kind of funny. I mean, it looks like it's trying to rip off Coca-Cola here with that C, which you can clearly see here, no pun intended. Yeah, so maybe we could go in and give our cola a name. So the name of the soda brand is Good Soda. just to keep it simple. And let's see if we can take that now and modify out what we've asked for here. So there's an old song that I'm dating myself, you may know, called Everyone Wants to Be a Creative Director, right? Well, that's kind of what I think a lot of these tools are actually asking for, right? So the tool can create design, the tool can do some amazing stuff, but you still have to have a good vision or an idea of what it is that you're looking for, right? So as an art director, you would be working with designers, and in this case, I'm working with a tool, and I'm going back and forth and constantly, tweaking it to make it what I want it to be. I'm sure there's ways to work with in this tool what are called like seeds. So I don't want crazy variation from one shot to the next. And I told you they already have a variation tool, but I'm sure there's probably a way. I'd have to do some more research as to how to bring in an existing product image and then maybe tweak that so that I'm not going from one shot to a completely different looking shot after that. So all right, this is interesting, right? It created like a wave, which is odd. And it's like we see half of a can or something behind it. Still, it's a weird shaped can. It did put the best soda out there up on the top, and it did make our soda good soda. But it kind of screwed it up, right? Because it said out there again. So we just wanted it to be called good soda. So let's try something else. Let's highlight this again and say the brand is good soda. I don't know why I put it in caps. Maybe that makes it more emphasis. And the slogan is the best. Whoops, what did I do? Oh, I hit enter. So let's go back and try that again. The brand is good soda. The slogan is the best soda out there. So we'll go ahead and do that. Have the can dropping down onto a table with a colorful, I cannot spell that apparently, full splash of color surrounding the can. And I'm just going to leave that misspelling in there to see if it knows what I want it to do. And so we'll go ahead and hit render. And while it's doing that, let's go check out the other one, which I did not mean for it to do. So, okay, interesting, right? It's taking a different take. It's got some ice in here. Look at that. It's got some condensation on the can, which is pretty amazing. It's well done. If you're a designer out there and you've done these little details by hand, you know these things take forever. So that's pretty amazing. So it's got good soda, the best soda. Didn't really take our entire tag, but again, I kind of screwed up that prompt as I was typing it. But that's interesting. It looks like it spelled soda wrong, but that again may have been what I typed in there. It really hasn't done the detail on the leaders and everything, but we could fine tune that by being the art director. But pretty interesting. So let's go see. It's rendered out our other request here. Wow, pretty amazing, right? Although this looks less like soda or flavorful liquid and more like Play-Doh or like silly putty or something. It's too thick, right? And it's changed our color scheme again on the can, but I didn't tell it not to, right? And our original color choices were this red and this blue. So you can see kind of how it's thinking and how it's taking direction, right? So, all right, I'm going to say this time, keep the can exactly the same and make the colorful. I wish it would show you your former prompt so you knew what you had said exactly and you could just tweak that. Keep the can exactly the same and make the colorful liquid thinner like soda. Keep the logo the exact same as well as the tagline. All right. Let's see what happens here. So we're going to go ahead and render that. And again, it's giving you one render at a time because we're giving art direction on a very specific image. So that's makes sense, right? Let's go back and look at that other one real quick. Pretty amazing. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I actually like that, the way they did that. But we moved ahead with a different one. So let's see what we got now. Okay. So that's pretty cool, right? We got away from the thick liquid, almost, looking like Play-Doh, as I said, around it. It put it at an angle. Didn't ask it to do that, but again, I gave it some creative leeway here, and it didn't really show what the liquid doesn't have a color to it, which is okay because I didn't tell it to, and I didn't say it should look like soda. It actually looks like it's dropping into water, and I kind of like where we are here. So I'm going to say keep everything the same from here except show ice surrounding the water splashes or something like that. So let's go back. Did it keep our logo the same? No, it did not, right? It changed it up. It created some weird thing at the top here where a slogan could go. Again, if you're using this for a mock-up, if you're using this for a beginning and understanding of where you want to go with a product shot, this brings things a long way, right? This could help you work with a client or your stakeholder to say, are we on the right path? Is this kind of what you're envisioning? So even if it may not give you the final image to work with, it definitely could help speed up the process as far as getting everyone aligned on the same vision, right? So I do see value in that. What it doesn't provide, and I'm sure all the designers are out there saying this, looks like a layered file. I can't really dive into this photo and edit the text. I can't mess with it, right? It's a flat bitmap. It's a PNG probably or JPEG. So there's not a whole lot I can do here with the file. I don't have the source file, in other words, and I can't do a lot of edits from there. So I have to kind of keep relying on this tool. So let's try to do what we said, and we'll stop here as our final thing we'll do with the tool today. But hope you've gotten a good understanding about how Visual Electric works, and maybe it's something your team would want to try out and see if you can gain consensus around product shots or establishing shots for video, etc. So, all right, so keep everything the exact same, except, let's say, add ice around the bottom of the can and on the table itself. Okay, let's see that. Let's go back here and make variations to see creativity is still, what if we brought that down to 0? Will that affect it? I don't know. I don't know if there's a relationship between the art direction and that tab. So let's try it out. Here we go. This is making me thirsty. All right, so we're going to go back and look at what we had. Remember this. Water splashing up, new logo. Didn't put our tagline on there. Well, tried to. The best something something soda out there, although it didn't do a great job. Okay, what did we end up with? Okay, interesting. It did yet another variation. Has some weird little bit of soda popping out of the top. It did add ice, and it did keep a liquid splash that was not like Play-Doh or colorful, which is similar. It definitely changed the angle. It changed the design. The best soda out there, although it screwed it up in the way that it did the type. The type is wrong here, brand. So, you can see some of the limitations out there with these tools that are out in the marketplace for people to utilize. Most of these, I'm sure Visual Electric, I don't know this is my opinion or my guess, they're pulling different, rendering engines out there, right? They're utilizing Flux or Midjourney or this and that and the other. Or they've created their own version to do that, although most of these tools I've seen have actually utilized one of those main tools to sort of power their product, if you will. So that's it for today. I just wanted to show you kind of some of the stuff that's out there in the world of design in terms of AI and creative design, and in this case, product design or video establishing shots, that sort of thing. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a lot more AI tool reviews out there. And like I said, we'll have some interviews coming up and some AI news for you. But that's it for today. Thanks for joining Designing with AI. I'm your host, Tom Zoldis. Take care.